welcome back to Victory Gardens by Rain. I'm Rain and this is my homestead. We're going to do a quick garden tour. Technically it was supposed to be February, but today is March 1st. So I'm going to show you something that just happened. He just pulled out of my driveway and I'm so excited because this is the step that we have been waiting for to get started on our raised bed garden. I'm going to swing around here just to show you not much has happened in the front side of the homestead because we've been putting a lot of our focus towards the backyard. So follow me. Right behind me is the pile of salvage lumber that we got. It's actually right here. I got that as it's called a salvage package. I got it from my local Ace Hardware, which those of you who know me know that Ace is the place and it's one of my favorite places. And so what I did is this is scrap wood that comes back from home building packages and where people return lumber that's not quite the quantity that they wanted or anything like that, but it's not in prime condition so that they can't sell it at full price. So I was able to get 2 full bundles and that is what I am using to build my raised bed garden. And then what was just dropped off was this ginormous pile of soil, which I'm so excited because this is what we're going to be using to fill our raised beds. We do a technique, what I tend to encourage everyone to do if they're doing raised bed gardens is the modified hugelkultur method, which is where you take hardwood and logs and big pieces and you put them in the bottom of your beds and then you layer it up with sticks and then branches, like thick branches, and then little sticks and then leaves, and then you put a piece of cardboard down and you put your topsoil in. That is how I'm doing my beds, and I'll show you some example as we go. But since we're kind of doing a tour, look right here behind me. These are the hydrangeas. They have not been pruned and they're leafing out already, but hopefully I'll get that done soon and a video out. It's not too late. It's not a great time to prune it, but I need to calm them down a little bit. So that'll be coming soon. Make sure you hit your like and subscribe button and the notification bell because I actually just posted today a video on pruning the roses from up front. I did that project yesterday or the day before maybe? I'm not sure.
Day before.
Day before. Okay. So anyway, back to what I'm super excited about today, which is this mix. This is a compost raised bed soil mix that I've gotten from a local landscape company. It is called Masters Landscape. It's located fairly close to the house, not too far, in Covington, Georgia. And what they do is they make their own soil. They create their own soil mixes, which means that they have property where they age and you create their own compost process. So it's half compost, half topsoil, which is a really great mix. I know plenty of people. Yes. Okay, so top post. I can't talk. We're gonna call it top post. No, it's topsoil and compost mix, and I really like that because I live in Georgia, and we have a lot of clay soil. We don't have topsoil. A lot. I'm not going to go into that whole spiel, but yeah. So we have heavy clay soil, but the great thing with that is it's very nutritious. The only thing is it's just super dense. So when it says topsoil, we have organic humus in there. We've got mulch pieces. There's peanut shells because we grow peanuts here. There's all kinds of organic matter mixed into what their topsoil is, and I really like it. I admire the way that their soil is mixed and put together. I had a long conversation with the owner of the company and we walked through and was able to talk through different types of soil, and I've kind of got in the works maybe a tour of the facility, which I'm really excited about having on the future docket. But let's go over here and I'm going to show you what the soil looks like. So this is an example of, don't want to waste it. This is an example of what it looks like as the top. No, this is the compost mix right here. See, it's got the different organic pieces, there's peanut shells in there, there's mulch, there's different things. And what we'll do, they mix it together. Oh, it's so nice and warm. Yeah,
I'll feel it.
it's so warm.
Oh, that is warm.
Yeah, so that's how you know it's a good compost. So you can see a little bit of the different color mix because it's got some of the red clay in there, which I prefer because that helps with moisture retention in your raised beds. And then all the organic matter mixed together will help with the aeration. And it's just a really good mix. I'm really excited about it. I've used this mix before in different gardens that I have helped steward, and I'm just super impressed. It's very clean and it's local, which I'm really excited about. So let's go over here and I'm going to show you the raised beds. We have cut down several trees. I think we're up to 13 or 14 different trees, which sounds extremely drastic, but it's very wooded and thick here. But we were able to, Jackson, can you see the epic tree, your treehouse tree?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this one we cleared out around it, and we're gonna actually make space for it to grow. I'm very excited about it.
It's also called Larry.
His name is Larry.
It's Larry.
You name. So Larry over here, we're clearing out from under him, and we're gonna build a structure that's gonna be like a tree house. It's not actually going to be built into the tree because we want the health of the tree to be the priority here. But it'll be like a fort situation for all the kids to play in, and I'm really excited about that. Jackson is actually part of his homeschool is he is going to be designing and coming up with the building plan for that, so he's excited about that. So we cleared that out. These trees over here, what you see laying here, this is a mix between water oak and pine. And we have a few other debris type trees like the privet that's growing pretty good. And we had some nice sized privets that was growing. And so my other from another brother came over and we felled the trees. My nephew came and it was a whole situation. I'll put some clips in here. Woo! And you can see that. So that was pretty exciting. And what we did is we are clearing this spot here to where it's going to be 2,800 square feet of garden space. Now, I'm not going to be planting I can't promise. I'll put a plant everywhere I can, really. But that's not going to be the growing space of the square foot. That's just what we have allotted for the raised bed area for our garden. And we're actually going to have two size beds. We're going to have 4 foot, 2 foot by 4 foot, and 2 foot by 8 foot. My goal here is to have this to be a fully accessible garden so that if I get sick again, that I still be able to steward the land in such a way that can honor our goal here. And also I want to be able to show people my heart with this whole vision that God has given me is to be able to show people that it's not meant to be an overwhelming aspect of growing. You know, if we just put the seed in the ground and put it in the best conditions that it can be in, then God's going to do the rest. And I think that's so encouraging. And I hope to convey that to you all as we walk through this process. And right now we are about $1,100 is all that we have put into this process. And the way that we did the math and schematics, we're going to have about 72 raised beds of those 2 different sizes. And we should be able, the most expensive thing was the soil, but that was because I didn't have time to build my own compost before garden seasoning. But I hope to not invest in soil any longer or again in the future, because I want to set up some systems in place to where we can build our own compost and we can have hotbeds and things so that we can have large quantities of it on such a small place. Hugh Richards, I think it has his name. over in Wells actually has videos on, well, I first was introduced to the hotbed on his video, and then I went down the whole spiral. There's a guy that wrote the books. I'm sorry, I don't remember the authors, but it's a hotbed technique where you take and you build essentially a compost bin with soil on top, and it heats up, and you can start your seedlings and things like that. It's great for places where it gets cold. It barely gets cold here. It's February, and I'm in a long sleeve shirt and jeans and pretty comfortable. So it doesn't get, it's actually 60 degrees now. So it's not that cold. I'm just kidding. It's March. It's March 1st. Anywho, back to what I was talking about here. So we're going to take all of this debris of the trees and things that we cut down, and we're actually using it. I've got a friend of mine, his name is Frank. He's coming over and he is going to harvest the trunks of the trees. He has a sawmill, which I think is absolutely awesome. And he's going to bring his tractor over and pick up these tree trunks. And he's actually going to turn that into lumber where he can build things. And I'm excited about that. And he is going to help clear out some of the debris with his tractor too. And so we're going to partner together with that. And then the rest of it, we actually are going to cut into small pieces. And that is what I'm building my beds from. So let's go look at these up close. So if you notice, I have bunches of piles laying around, and those actually are assigned piles. It looks like a bunch of chaos, but there's piles that we need to trim the branches off of. There's sticks that we have already trimmed the branches off of that we're going to be cutting up, and we're going to be putting in the bottom of the garden bed. So this is what we do. This is the first step. I built these beds tall enough to where I could sit on them.
Wow.
Whoop. So that I could sit on them and garden comfortably. I chose to build these. This is an 8-foot by 2-foot bed. I chose to build these so that I can reach all the way across without a lot of strenuous activity for me. Last year, those of you who do not know, I struggle with lupus. I have lupus of the brain, and also Sjogren's, and I have more autoimmune issues that they're investigating. But last year I was completely, I can't think of the word right now, but I was on a walker. I couldn't walk. I didn't have a lot of cognitive function. And so a handicap accessible garden became.
Wait, what was the walker's name?
My walker's name was Clementine.
Do we still have
We
Clementine?
still have Clementine. And my husband actually, one day when I was all in my feels about being, you know, not even 40 and on a walker and that type of thing, which is a hard blow to the ego, he actually took the fall decorations that we had out and was, something going on next door, but he decorated my walker and named it Clementine for me. So me and Clementine had quite a few adventures last year.
We're a very weird family. I name plants, and Rick names inanimate objects.
That's true. Yeah, we're pretty silly. But anyway, having a handicap accessible garden was very high on our list of importance. And so that's why we built these beds this deep. But even if I was not handicapped, I would always build them this deep because I don't want to have to work any harder than I have to anyway. And an in-ground garden, while there's a lot of value there, causes, you know, you have to do a lot of squatting and standing and doing all these things. And here it's easy for me to sit on the side and be able to plant my seeds or my bulbs or whatever it is that I have, transplants or whatnot, and be able to work in this space without really exerting a lot of energy physically from me. So that was really important. The second reason why I really like the beds at this height is because I get to use that modified technique of the hugelkultur method. And the hugelkultur method, actually, we're going to do an in-depth video on that. But it originated from where? Do you remember where it came from?
Hugelkultur?
Yeah.
Germany,
that's right. And it was a mounding process that they used organic matter to create essentially a compost bin, where they could plant on top of it to be able to save space and to use organic matter to feed their plants, because they didn't have fertilizer and things like that accessible to them. Well, that's important to me. I don't want to have to depend on a store to fertilize my garden, or a huge processing plant to be able to make that chemical compound to be able to put to feed my plants, when God's already created the forest floor for us to look at and to be able to learn and glean from that to feed our own plants in that type of way. And the hugelkultur method, this modified method of putting it in a raised bed, is a great illustration of that to me. And that's how I want to grow. And what's going to happen is they're eventually going to decay, and then there's layers that you put into it, and then it fills it up, and you fill the top 12 inches up with the topsoil. So that's where our soil comes into play that we got today. So anyway, that is what I'm super excited about. We've already got 7 of these beds built. The entrance is actually going to be right over here. Pretty, like, I want it in line with where our deck comes off, so that you can walk straight into the garden. And then this is the garden entrance, which is right now a pile of limbs. But eventually this entire space, which, can you see the trunk right there, Jackson?
Yeah.
Okay, so that tree trunk is the end of the garden area. So we're gonna do a huge rectangle here to make it enclose the garden area. So that tree trunk is kind of the far side. This area gets about 12 or 13 hours of sun right now, and the sun rises here. This is east, that's north on my property, this is south, and then that's west. And so the sun will actually rise and go right across and end up in front of my house. So there's plenty of sun here. We did have to cut out, like, this was a tree. This is a tree trunk that's buried right now. But we did have to cut some trees to be able to have a full sun area. But those are the trees that are currently in our boxes now. So this is what it will look like. We'll have the perimeter of the garden is going to have the 2-foot by 8-foot beds, and that's what's going to frame it in. The interior of the garden are going to be these 4-foot by 2-foot boxes here, and then they're going to be the pathways. The main pathways are going to be 6 feet wide. From box to box will be 4 feet wide, and that again ties back into trying to get it as handicap accessible as possible. And I want to be able to have people come in and pick their own veggies, and I want to be able to open up my home to people who don't have resources enough to buy organic vegetables, you know, because I tell you, I went on this whole thing in December. I went to the grocery store, and I know it's not in season, and I know you pay more for things that are not in season, and it's all shipped from Peru or from Mexico or different areas where they can grow year round. But I paid $8 for 3 bell peppers, and I was like, that is absolutely outrageous, absolutely outrageous. So I planted an entire seed pack of bell peppers in December, and they're currently growing little transplants in my well, they're on my deck now. Jackson moved them outside, can't really see them, but we'll put a little clip of all the seedlings. But anyway, I just don't believe that you should have to pay that much money for food to be accessible to you. And so because God has blessed my family, my husband and I, and my kids with the resource of having this land to steward, I want to be able to pay that forward. And hopefully you guys will partner with me and be able to create a resource so that we can do that for them. Hit that like and subscribe button, but and comment below if you have any ideas. But that's my heart. My heart is to be able to grow enough food so that I can share it forward and bless those who cannot afford to buy organic produce, because it is absolutely outrageous right now. So that's my heart, and that's what I'm excited about. But if you look this way, this is about what it looks like. So I was able to, my sweet husband, I was chomping at the bits, and I was just really ready to just put my hands on some soil. We haven't really got a chance to play here. We've been doing mostly, I don't know, logistics, trying to get everything together. My brother's come and he's cut down trees, and just kind of like the very first steps. And so we went to the Ace and we got bags of soil, and I saw that they were selling onions. And so we hurried up. Oh, I'm gonna put a little hole there, but we filled up this bed, and so I got little onions growing, and I'm really excited about that.
Oh,
So,
my back.
oh my gosh.
It
And
just like,
this right here is alyssum. So I'm excited about that. I tend to plug flowers anywhere where I can put them in the garden, and I think that's the best way to build your ecosystem. But then these guys are going to be my potato beds. I got 100 pounds of potatoes, so we're going to do a video on that.
a lot of potatoes.
A lot of potatoes. And my roommate, she used to say, how did she say it? Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Potatoes. She's gonna make
Potatoes.
potatoes for dinner tonight, and I love that. So anyway, this right here is an experiment. This is snowball cauliflower. This is purple cauliflower. This is a fielder crest cabbage, and this is broccoli rabe, which is purple. And then I've got this little guy right here. This little guy. Actually, that's dill. And this guy right here, I don't know if you can see it. These are daisies. But I had, if you can see over here, this little pile of plastic back there.
That's a lot of plastic.
Yes, that is the greenhouse. We had moved the greenhouse from the deck over here to this little flat area because we were trying to get everything all in one spot for me. And we had a massive windstorm come, which is something I never really had to battle at the old house because we were kind of in a protected area. But yeah, there's a lot of wind here, and it tossed up my greenhouse, which I stood here. I was actually standing right here. And where I was standing, there was no wind. And then I watched it come through like this, go whoosh, and it just lifted the entire...
I wish I was there.
It was crazy. We had it weighted down. We had it pegged into the ground, weighted down with the bricks, which you can actually, if we go over there, you can see the outline of them where the bed was. And we had logs on there. Okay, if that tells you how much wind, it was crazy. And so I lost a lot of seedlings. So that's what I was telling you the story for. I lost a lot of seedlings. So what I did is the ones that I found that still had green in them, I planted in this little raised bed because we had already bought the bagged soil. And so that was an experiment that I did. And I was super excited that it worked out because they are so healthy and they're just living their little best lives right here. I mean, I'm going to have to transplant them once we get these beds filled, now that we have soil, which I can do soon. I'm really excited about. But I just kind of quickly picked up the tray and plopped them into soil and covered it because that night it was freezing. And then they have developed 2 new sets of leaves since I've done it. So I am going to consider that a successful transplant emergency situation. But I planted I found a old pack of cabbages and planted it because I didn't know if the seeds were valuable. But apparently they are, like every single one of them. So I have probably about 200 cabbages. So that'll be the first thing everybody gets to come pick, which none of those were damaged. So everything else, like my daisies and my echinacea and all the things that takes a minute to germinate, all of that was damaged. But that's okay. I mean, it's early in the season, and so I can reseed. And if not, zinnias are absolutely wonderful, and I'll just put zinnias everywhere. So my goal is to have flowers line the entire garden. Back here in this cluster of oak trees, you can kind of tell where we've cleared out under there. But that is where our chicken coop is going to go. which again, Jackson's going to be designing that. We've already designed it, actually, haven't we?
Not 100%. We just have done the math. I'm really bad at blueprints.
Oh, so we haven't drawn the blueprints, but we have done the math. You're right. Okay, so we're kind of working on that, and we're doing the chicken coop. I had to think about where I was at. So we're doing the chicken coop. That's probably, the garden is the number one focus that we're doing right now, because we've got to start putting seeds in the ground, and then we're going to move our focus to the chicken coop, which means that I cannot go to Tractor Supply or look on any kind of site where there might be baby chicks. Yes.
I'm pausing it.
All right, so anyway, he rolled. Oh my gosh, he rolled so bad. This dog has found the cow pasture back there and loves to roll and poop. So he's officially a poop head. But anyway, this right here is the side entrance to the garden. So these are some of the seedlings I was able to save, mostly cabbages. But I'll have these planted up, and we'll have a little arch here. And over in the entrance, we're actually going to have a round arch, and it's going to look like a hobbit door. I'm really excited about that. But that's mainly the only changes that we have done. Oh, right here is where I'm doing a leaf mold beds real quick, because I cleaned up leaf mold. It's to help the compost accelerate.
Like stuff that's on food, like the mold from food.
Well, leaf mold is how you create the microbiology that you need to have in well, it's the easiest way to create the microbiology that you need to have in compost. So it's really cool.
Oh, that is cool.
This part over here, we cleared out and I harvested these leaves. And essentially all you do is pile them up, make sure they stay wet, and let them kind of, decompose in place. But that'll be our next layer after the sticks in the compost bins, or in the raised beds. But these two trees are actually going to be pulled down. My friend is coming to get those for firewood. So that's going to go to a home. Nothing that we do on this property is going to go to waste. We are trying to pray through and think through all the different steps so that we use what God has given us to the absolute most benefit for the long run. I don't want to come through here and just mow down everything. We've got 5-year plans, 10-year plans in place, and we're going to create a environment to be able to work together. We have fruit trees, we have berry bushes, we have perennials that are come through, asparagus, all kinds of things that I want to create spaces for, so that we can essentially have a permaculture food forest going on in our backyard. So anyway, that's what we have for you today. That's the biggest update. I lied, there's 8 beds, not 7. But this is what we're going to be working on, and things we're coming and seeing, checking it out. And if you could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, put a comment below. I would love to see you guys interact with each other. I would also like to meet you via comments. I want to try to be pretty proactive about making sure you guys feel valuable, because I am so appreciative of you spending your time with me and coming and checking out what we have going on, and kind of walking alongside of us as this journey. I hope you learned something, and I pray that you have a blessed day.